Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Woo! Skeletnas. And iron. Oh, the iron's done. Ding! There we go. Let's make some smoothstone. Yeah, welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 703. I hope that skeleton's gone. Oh dear, how did I do this? I didn't necessarily hear it die, but let's assume that it did. This is episode 703 of Farlands or Bust for your Monday, September 3rd, 2018. As we continue here in Minecraft Beta 173, walking to those far lands, boating. We're boating, actually, right now, to those far lands west, as we've been doing since March 2011. It's been quite a while indeed, yet we continue on, and we continue raising money for charity at farlandsorbust.com. Currently up to $17,626.40 raised for direct relief charities. You can learn more at farlandsorbust.com or directrelief.org. Thank you, everybody who continues to donate. When we raise $20,000, I'll do that much-anticipated Kurt Reacts to Kurt video. That is to say, the Guinness World Records video that came out 3 years ago that I never watched because I cringe so much. That'll happen at 20,000. At 25,000, we'll be building the Lego Saturn V. And then, of course, we raise the full amount, 50,000. We finally press F3. Finally press F3 to see how far we've come. This has been a long season. We had kind of season 7A, and this is season 7B. Season 7A we were just walking. We didn't have a charity. We were just doing it, no stress, just walking and talking. Then we came up with the direct relief charity. Now we're walking, talking, and raising money for charity. And at the end of this is when we'll press F3. Keeping on. Still seeing all the comments on the YouTube videos. Whoa, this guy's still doing this? That's crazy. Woo! I haven't watched you in a while. Hey, I've graduated from college. In the time you're still walking to the far lands with a doctorate degree. I've been doing this for over 7 years. That might not be impossible if somebody has done that. But, yeah. Keeping on here, indeed. It's been a little bit since the episodes. There's a lot going on, Wolfie. There's a lot going on. I'm very sorry. But one of those things this weekend has been PAX West, previously known as PAX Prime, right here in Seattle. I only went on Friday, but met up with a bunch of Farlanders, new and old, those I've known and those I've never met, such as, I know TDW Fan, and I was not expecting Joe Beanie. Everybody knows Joe Beanie. Like, hello, I'm Joe. Who? Joe Beanie. Oh, Joe Beanie! So that was really cool. So it was good to meet them and see everybody else who's here. Went out to a gluten-free restaurant with everybody. Had a gluten-free fish and chips. It was good times indeed. Of course, also, in addition to that, our friend Cone Dodger, 240. 240 blaze it. 240 is in town for the first time in Seattle as well. And he'll be staying a little bit longer with, I think he can stay inside Juno's crate. I think that'll work fine for him. No, he'll be hanging around, help me out with the Corolla. We already got the bumper on. Let him take it out for a very long drive. He thrashed it around the curvy roads in the valley here. I have noticed that what's it called, Wolfie? The valve cover gasket has started to leak more, so that'll I think will be our next project he'll help me with. And then, I don't know. I feel like at the same time we should probably change the oil, right? Even though I haven't driven it much, it probably doesn't need it. But it's probably a good idea on an old engine like that. And, I don't know, maybe take a look at the brakes or something. I don't know. But all in all, just hanging out, having fun. All those sorts of things. All those sorts of things indeed. Which brings me to my topic. This is going to be one of these episodes where we ramble on. As is often the case around conventions. It is usually around conventions when I start to get all misty-eyed and confused about my life. Isn't it? It's, woo. It's been. No, it's just interesting thinking about my first PAX was PAX Prime 2014, 13, 14. Remember we met Dr. Brian Lorgon 111 for the first time. But at least for me and other friends I've talked to, it might be that we're getting older. It might be that we started this so long ago that our own scope and ideas have changed, not only for ourselves and our jobs, but for like the industry, the video gaming industry, the geek culture industry. And a lot of it is hard to digest now and then. Yes, philosophizing. Oh, speaking of, I'm recording this live on Twitch for those of you who might be confused who I'm like discussing or getting input from. Somebody just said I'm philosophizing. There's a lot of phizing that's being philosophized right now. So yeah, a lot of it is like regarding the spectacle of it all. And I never was into the spectacle of it all. The loud noises, the giant booths, the standing in line for 2 hours to play or see a preview of a game that's not going to come out for another 8 months. I was never particularly into that, but I allowed it. It was, I took it as part of the industry and part of the culture. I think it just seems... It's been a weird year for, I think, a lot of people, where everybody, regardless of if you're in the gaming industry, the YouTube, the Twitch, the whatever, it's a year. Things are happening that make people think about perspective and context and like a bigger goals, ideals, where we're headed and going and where we've been and what we're currently even doing. And it's hard to justify. It's hard for me to even say this because I realize that the last 7 years of my life have been dependent on the gaming industry and whatnot. Although less so now. I'm more dependent on you, my viewers, through Twitch subs and Patreon patrons, and those sorts of things. I'm not dependent on the advertising revenue. Like if advertising revenue disappeared, that would be no huge deal to me. I would like it not to. There's, it's nice not to have to, to have multiple streams of revenue, but yeah, I feel like, for instance, one of the things that was new at PAX this year was both PUBG and Fortnite. Huge games, lots of money being made, and lots of money being spent. PUBG closed down an entire street and set up like army trucks, and they had, crates, the like drop crates, ammo crates or whatever, with like smoke coming out of them, red smoke, and they had like a burning car, and a whole like set was set up, and they had the music playing, and they even had an army personnel carrier driving around that had the PUBG logo emblazoned on it, and I don't know if they were giving people rides, or it was, you know, just a big driving billboard. And then Fortnite rented out an entire wing of the convention center and turned it into a Fortnite-themed mini golf indoor arena, and like had a giant wall building-sized mural. What am I doing here? I'm making the elevated hidey hole. So it's like, wow, like hey, like I'm not gonna poo-poo if that excites people and it makes people happy, that's great, but it also makes you think about priorities a little bit, maybe. And maybe, like we were saying, me and my friend were saying, maybe it's just our age, and maybe we're just becoming curmudgeons or something. But it's also, it's worth just thinking about. Let me go to sleep and think on it. Let's digest this in our dreams and continue in the morning. And awakeness. Did Wolfie hurt himself? I heard a like he ran into some leaves or something. You noodle? You dang noodle? But you gotta think. I don't have any. Oops. I don't have any instant grass measuring stick to know how much that sort of thing costs, but let's just say like the PUBG thing, you're talking at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, or a million, perhaps over a million, because I saw, you know, they hired a whole like movie set team, like pyrotechnics team. They had like logos on their shirts. They're from like the fire people. They'd make fire effects. It's a lot of money. Just knowing how much it costs us wee little Mindcrack group to have the tiny little booth space at the PAXs, to be able to shut down an entire street and set up what amounts to a movie set. Of course, inside that theater, then they were also holding their esports tournament stuff. So, I mean, that is a separate cost entirely, I'm sure. But, ooh, is that a spawner down there? Probably, but that would be one heck of a thing to uncover. So I'm just going to pass it up. Could be another golden apple, but they're a dime a dozen nowadays. So yeah, it gets you thinking. It's like, no, that's nice and everything, but like, there's a lot of homeless people downtown Seattle, and not even homeless people. Like, hey, like I know a lot of my friends who could like do very well and like do what they do for a long time and help a lot of other people out with like a fraction of that. And perhaps selfishly, I think about myself, like, hey, yeah, like that could be a lot of good going somewhere else. But then that becomes a whole different philosophical like question about money and our best uses and priorities. But that's kind of what my brain place went to, is like priorities. So then I start to think about myself and see, I was talking about like, oh, I only went to PAX on Friday. Oh, dang it. Hold on a second. My antivirus just popped up and said, you want to buy the complete version, don't you? No! And we're back. All right. I'm not even going to bother editing that out. That'll just be an awkward silence there. What was I saying? So yeah, just thinking about my own priorities, like the convention experience has changed for myself throughout the years. Early on, you know, a good portion of us Mindcrackers were going. We had a booth a couple times. We did panels, signings, and it has slowly changed from that as other members and friends have decided not to go to conventions. And then I started kind of going to conventions to just hang out with friends. And then it's like, do I even need to go to the convention? And that's kind of what this year has evolved into, is I just went on Friday. But then I start to worry, like, oh, like somebody, like maybe one of another Farlander fan doesn't have Friday badges. They missed the chance to meet me. Or if I go hang out with a friend, am I missing a chance to hang out with other people? it's a real noodle twister. But then and at the same time, and I've had this thought before, oh, going to a convention, am I neglecting the ability to be streaming, to be recording Far Lands of Bust? Am I neglecting the viewers at home who don't go to conventions or anything like that? And to a greater degree, am I neglecting my job? Am I losing potential living revenue that will help me pay these quarterly taxes that are approaching in 15 days very quickly and very, very dangerously? Is that an issue I have to think about? So yeah, it's a real pickle that I feel myself, but other people, way too much thinking. Yes, thank you. Way too much thinking. Or not enough thinking? Is it, is it, are those, I feel like I hope the people who do get all jazzed and take selfies next to the PUBG street and crate drop, are you mindlessly doing that? Are you just having fun, or are you a mindlessly consuming sort of thing? Is that something that is necessary, even? But then again, what is necessary? Is having a 41-year-old Toyota necessary? So yeah, it's more so not to judge other people who do like that sort of thing and who do get a kick out of it and enjoy it, but I'm more reflecting on my own involvement, my own, what I put into it and what I get out of it. And then, of course, down the realm of too much thinking, I start to think about my own day-to-day. Oh, geez, should I be working more? Should I be streaming on a specific schedule? Should I be searching out for new games, the hot games that allow me to get viewers, so I don't have to worry about this, that, or the other, or so that I can maybe push the charity more or give to the charity? It's tough. It's a strange life we lead. And then, yes, even more so, it gets even bigger and beyond this Twitch and YouTube thing, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? And I wonder if that's like unique to our generation. Ooh, football. We can play football. Touchdown, 2-point conversion. Swoosh. That's kind of neat. Little radio towers. The underneath here, this is the top. Underneath here is the rest of the Sears Tower. These are just the two radio antennas on the top. You just have to imagine the other 190 stories, whatever, is just beneath us. Let's say that, shall we? Hold on, this seems like a good... You're in the weeds there, Wolfie. Whoops, wrong button. Screenshot. Whoop. Seeds. So yeah, it's a strange thing. And that's what I was saying before I got distracted by the pillars of touchdown-itude. Is it just our generation who really think about this? Because we have kind of a broader, larger view of the world, thanks to, of course, like I said, thanks to these things that I'm actually kind of starting to criticize. Media, television, internet, World Wide Web, social media. Is that the reason why we start to look at our own lives and being like, I'm not doing enough, or where do I fit in? As opposed to previous generations, perhaps only had the limited, usually, depending on the person and the resources available, a limited worldview, localized scope of things. It's pretty interesting to think about, but also can be stressful. Yeah, and I see some very big words in chat talking about certain philosophy of the modern era, since we as mammals, as animals, as creatures of the earth, since we no longer have to dedicate brain space to where are we going to find our next meal, or how are we going to survive the night, or XYZ wildlife encounters. Now that we're not having to waste brain power on that, we have all this empty free space in our brains to create new questions and worry. But of course, on the flip side, there's always a flip side, that extra brain space has also allowed us to peer deep into the universe, to try to understand our place in the cosmos and learn about science, and cure diseases and think of better ways to take care of things, but then also kind of destroy things a little bit. Unfortunately, the all and ever encompassing need for progress sake, is that even good? I don't know. Next time on Existential Minecraft Thoughts. Oh, let's go to sleep. And continue in the morning. And awakeness. So yeah, it has gotten me thinking, and a lot of my friends thinking, about, like, simplifying things. And on, I guess to bring it back to the PAX convention thing, like, why can't we just rent a cabin and I'll split the cabin and just, like, hang out there for a week and just be in each other's company, if that is truly the reason to come together for these conventions, and if you can leave behind all the special effects and smoke and gameplay, previews and advertising. Can we all just the friend groups that we want to be around just hang out? And yeah, I saw Justin talking about that. I know him and Richard want to do, like, a fishing trip. I've heard other friends who want to do things, but even then, I think they're all going together again to TwitchCon. Did it need to be around TwitchCon? Is what I'm starting to think. And I went, and a couple weeks ago, I went on a vacation and hung out with internet friends just for the sake of it, because I could. Not because I should, but because I could. You know, spoke and hung out with B00, got tacos, B00 and pungents. So yeah, it's these are strange and unusual times in which we live, and I don't want to get, like, too deep in my own personal, like, worries. I don't know what to do. What if this is all, it's gonna end next year and I'm not gonna have a job? Oh, it's a thing, right? Minecraft, music, pianos. Speaking of which, with a donation to Direct Relief charity, T. Soimos asked, "Do you think you're the same person you were 5 years ago? What about since college? High school? Everyone changes over time, of course, but do you think if you sat down and had a conversation with your old self, you would be able to recognize your way of thinking, talking, and acting? Or totally different?" Well, 5 years ago, I was doing this. I was, only 600,000 blocks towards the far lands or whatever. So, 5 years ago, things were going pretty well as far as the YouTube scale went. Ooh, look, iceberg right ahead. You may have to ask about like 10 years ago. Will I recognize myself? Probably. Yeah, these hypotheticals are real rough on the old noodle for me to piece together. Do I have enough? I should probably get more wooden planks. Ah, that was a weird noise. Did you hear that? that was not a noise I've ever heard come from Wolfie before. It was like a throaty. I don't think I've changed particularly. Like, you say, my way of speaking and acting. Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. But I think certainly my outlook, some opinions have probably changed for the better as you learn new things, have new experience and whatnot. Since college, since high school. Certainly since high school. Man, it's tough, I'm sure, for anybody, but for myself to, like, put myself in high school Kurt shoes. Kind of college shoes as well. But that's, I think, just a result of aging and, like I said, experiencing and learning new things. Old episodes 1 through 100, Kurt. Man, those are tough to listen to. They're your favorite. I'm sorry. Somebody said that episodes 1 through 100 are their favorite. I'm sorry that the last 600 have not lived up to that. Oh, excuse me. I mean, there are people who you meet who are the same person as they were in high school, and that's not a good thing. That's usually not a good thing. But there are people who perhaps get stuck in that sort of mindset, or you know, maybe that's just where they were comfortable, and kind of a habitual way of living and acting and seeing the world. So yeah, there's I don't think everybody changes, unfortunately. But I certainly think most people do. And hopefully, usually it's for the better. I don't keep in contact with anybody who I went to high school or school, or, I mean, other than obviously my family, obviously, but, you know, anybody outside of the people who saw me every single day. Or even college. I sometimes wonder if that's a good or a bad thing, to not have that connection. It's kind of out of my hands, I think. I also don't necessarily want to, if that's you know, if that makes any sense. I don't use Facebook. I don't have, you know, any way for those people to even find me. I'm surprised, maybe a little bit surprised. I haven't heard from anybody who, like, maybe knew about me, and maybe, like, they have a kid now who, like, plays Minecraft and got, like, the Guinness World Records thing, and maybe, like, put 2 and 2 together. I don't know. I was a very forgettable kid throughout high school and college. I didn't really stand out or anything. But yeah, I don't know. This was a good question for this episode. but I don't know if I've fully answered it. TBH. TBH, Wolfie. You know what? You've been taking some injuries here. I haven't seen any pigs lately, but let me do that just for safety's sake. Woof. Oh, right a coal. Whoop, whoop. Bloink. But continuing on, the one thing that has remained is our quest to the far lands. And I still gotta get my life together. That's the thing that hasn't changed. Yeah, I mean, just thinking about all this stuff and all these existential manufactured crises in my head, it does. I don't want to say it feels like I lack routine, but I feel like I lack routine. So I want to try to do better, both obviously for myself, so that I don't really take this for granted and mess this thing up, but also for you guys, and hopefully you guys continue to follow along and enjoy the journey with me, both here in Far Lands or Bust, and then also maybe if you're watching streams, and maybe you're just here for the Instagram pictures of Juno. I don't know. But yeah. It is. I've been having my midlife crisis has been lasting my entire life. It's a full life crisis. It's just point A to point B, full life, continuous, ongoing, never-ending story. Never-ending story. All right. I had to chop down this tree so I could actually make the end of the episode hidey hole here, which is what I'm going to do. I do appreciate everybody following along, regardless of if episode 1 through 100 is your favorite. No, I understand. Don't apologize. I'll be fine. Or if you've just joined us, or maybe if you forgot about the journey and have recently rediscovered this crazy dude walking to the far lands, raising money for charity. I do appreciate you. And recommend maybe checking out farlandsbus.com. See if you're able to donate to the charity. I don't mention it that often, but there's also the Patreon. There's also the Twitch channel if you don't watch many streams. We've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky, but if that's not your thing, too bad. No, if that's not your thing, we're mixing it up. I'm starting to get a little bit weary of the sky that belongs to No Man's. But because Cone Dodger is in town, I think we have some cool ideas to do some co-op stuff. I don't know if he wants to do any sort of Cone's Garage stuff. Maybe we can try... Whoops, I don't want to make boats, I want to make beds. Maybe we can try recording, like, the gasket replacement, or maybe we'll just do a driving vlog. Something. We'll think of things. We will. Will we, Wolfie? Yes. Oh, there it is. We will indeed. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening to this existential episode of Far Lands or Bust. How many does that make now? Like 347 existential episodes? Maybe? A little less than half. I do appreciate it. Everybody have a good holiday weekend if you're in the United States with the holiday, and if not, just have a good. Hope you had a good weekend and a good west of the week. Will we? My name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. Let's digest this in our dreams.